Hello and welcome to Talk Time. My guest today is a living legend in the world of Indian business that is fast crossing the country's borders thanks to his drive. He is none other than Mr. Ratan Tata, chairman of the Tata Group. Mr. Ratan Tata, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It is very rarely, Mr. Tata, that a leader like you visits a far-flung region like the northeast of India. Now, what does a state like Assam, for example, come in the scheme of things of India's biggest business conglomerate, the Tata Group?
Well, for a long time, I've felt that the northeast part of India has been ignored by industry, ignored by many of us, and of course, Assam, we in Tatas had problems with our tea estates in the past.
Right.
And all through that period, there was a sense of warm feelings for Assam and the people of Assam, although there were some misunderstandings and some allegations against us, which have proved to be incorrect.
Yes.
I was also driven by Mr. Krishna Kumar's own passion for this part of the country. And we have always wanted to participate in the development of this part of India, which has by and large been ignored, wrongly so.
By the industry. Now that you are setting up a five-star hotel in Guwahati, you are setting up a campus of the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, what is the message really?
The message, and if you look at the northeast part of India, we tried to set up a small car plant in West Bengal. We are building a cancer hospital in West Bengal for the Northeast India. So the message really is that for Northeast India, we feel that someone has to make the move in industry to participate in the development of this part of the country. Beautiful as it is, as nice as the people are, as great a potential as there is to do something, not just a venal thing of making money as industry and industrialists have come to be known, but the satisfaction of making a difference.
Right. Now, what is your vision of India, Mr. Tata? Because in the region like Assam, or for that matter, Northeast, there is a general perception, general feeling of the people that, okay, we belong to a periphery about which the core doesn't bother much. And that applies to the Indian industry, as you yourself said.
Yeah, I agree with that view. I think that view is valid, and I think it's for people like us to bother and to realize that this is a part of our country which has a great deal to offer. You've got more graduates here per capita than any other part of India.
Absolutely.
You have skills, you have capabilities, and for one reason or another, other parts of the country have progressed, and this has been ignored.
And this realization has come as far as the central government in India is concerned, because it has come up with what is called the Look East policy. Now, do you think the Look East is some kind of a dream, or do you think that can be converted into a workable business proposition as such?
Even if we didn't consider this part of business, it's part of our country. So even if one doesn't make a rupee of profits, it doesn't matter. If we can help tourism increase its activities, if we can create skills and see development. And mind you, I've just been to the hospital here for children. Mm-hmm. I've been so moved by what I saw. You don't have that in Bombay. There isn't that kind of caring. There isn't that kind of human touch. And we've become very insensitive in our large cities.
Absolutely.
So it's not just making money.
What you are doing is already remarkable, because Operation Smile has brought cheer to so many people in the state, in the region as such.
Yeah, and quite frankly, even though we're supporting it, seeing it made a big difference. So I think more of us should be here and see what you're doing, see what the Chief Minister has done.
When you go back today, you will go back convinced that whatever you have contributed is for a really good cause.
Not only what we've contributed is for a good cause, but that we need to make a commitment to do much more.
Right. And when we talk about trade, when we talk about business, Mr. Tata, we always end up comparing things with China. And we are a democracy, it has, its, as you know, strengths and weaknesses. But do we really need, or are we ever going to reach up to where China is, or do we need to really?
If we are to compare ourselves to China, infrastructure in this country has to multiply itself many times over. We're woefully behind on infrastructure. If you don't have infrastructure, you won't have development. Mm-hmm. You won't bring industry, you won't bring tourism, you won't bring visitors. So infrastructure in China is way ahead of India. Mm-hmm. And here you're more aware of doing something with infrastructure. And you can see here also it's lagging behind the rate of development that you have.
Absolutely.
So if we're to compare ourselves to China, then infrastructure has to be a priority.
So I asked you this question because of the location. We are in Northeast, I'm talking to you in Guwahati. Just across the border in Arunachal Pradesh, there are apparently 4 to 6 lane highways, whereas we are infrastructurally pretty poor.
Well, I've only spent a few hours in Guwahati. It would be wrong for me to pass judgment on the state. Mm-hmm. But yes, you get the feeling that roadways and connectivity are behind where you are today in terms of development. Mm-hmm. You've got traffic jams, you've got dusty roads and so on. So yes,
so investment like this, people like you coming, sending out the right message, things can change.
Perhaps, but highways and connectivity of that nature, infrastructure is usually a government
prerogative.
Not only a prerogative, it's usually within the realm of government expenditure.
Right. On that note, we shall go for a short break now, but stay on. When I come back, I shall continue my conversation with Mr. Ratan Tata, chairman of the Tata Group. Welcome back. I am in conversation with Mr. Ratan Tata, chairman of the Tata Group. A slightly different thing, Mr. Tata. How would you like to best, or us to best describe you as a humanist, as a world leader, or as just an Indian who want India to be successful at every stage?
I think I would like to describe myself first and foremost as an Indian. It hurts me that we are carving our country up into castes, into parochial groups, into communities. And I think the same thing, why we're looking at Assam almost as though it's another country. It's a part of us. We need to be as much at home, and Assam should feel as much at home, and not a periphery, as you put it, of India. Mm-hmm. So I would describe myself mainly as an Indian, passionate Indian, very proud of India.
Right. Now, your philosophy is reflected in your exhortation to your companies to lead and not follow. Now, when we apply this to a billion-plus country like India, to lead and not follow, do you think it is really possible?
I don't apply this to the country,
right?
Because that would be too pompous of me. I apply it to our group because, and it has worked. We always tended to follow because it was the safest thing to do. Mm-hmm. And I realized that if we told ourselves that we should lead, that we might change our mindset. I never in my wildest dreams thought that the whole group would just rally to that and take that on, which they did. So I suppose there'd be a chance that the country could do the same.
Absolutely. And what does power and influence mean to you? Because you are voted as one of the 100 most powerful people in the world.
It means nothing, and I'm not one of the most powerful or influential persons in this world. In fact, I'm very much a recluse.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So. That's true. But when people vote you, when the mass people vote you, you are humble as always. You are recluse, as you said. But when the people vote you, what do you feel?
I don't think much about these polls per se. I don't attach too much importance to them, and I feel an embarrassment to be voted that way.
You have always been unconventional, like, for example, your acquisition of Chorus and Jaguar in 2007, 2008, at the peak of the global recession. It was, somebody described it as a king's gambit. Looking back, what do you...
There's a correction. They were not at the peak of the recession.
Okay.
The timing was wrong, but both of them was before the recession, and it's quite conceivable that had the recession been on, we would not have acquired them because credit was not available, etc. So we got hit after we acquired them, and that was unfortunate. Fortunately, we're over that hump now.
And 1962 to now, when you were with the Tata Group, now the person at the helm of affairs, you are a trained architect. Now, what has been your most exciting moment? Was it the foray into the car manufacturing, or was it the launch of the Nano in 2008?
Both. I think launching the first Indian car, the Indica, was a great challenge, a great satisfaction, because everybody at that time said that you couldn't design your own car, that you had to have a license agreement, had to have a collaboration. Launching the Nano was even a greater thrill, because more people threw stones at you, more
Right.
people said things couldn't be done, more people blamed you for a myth, and so on.
And the challenging circumstances.
And so that was very, very moving for me when we did it.
And now you are on the verge, or you have already taken Nano to the world stage, outside India's borders.
Trying to.
Now, apart from time, if you were to buy something today at a premium, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Each one of the acquisitions has had a strategic fit. So it would need to be that. It would need to be a company that had the same value and ethical system as we did. And those would be the main criteria. It was really strategic, and it really fit, and the chemistry was really terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would not mind paying a premium.
Okay, now, time is at a premium. You don't have time. Now, something which is most passionate to you, flying is one, of course.
Yes.
So what could it be, for you? Suppose you have the time today
Yes.
to do something.
I'm flying. I'm flying back to Bombay.
You're flying yourself?
Yes.
Today?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
I flew here this morning.
You flew your
Yeah.
own jet. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Now, before I end, we are not expecting you to retire from active service anytime soon, but suppose you retire at some point and you have enough time at your hands, or at least more time than what you have today, what would you possibly be doing?
Oh,
Designing things?
yeah. I've made that statement that I'd like to form a small design group that could have fun and not have to.
No commercial interests?
Well, if commercial excellence came along, that would be great. But otherwise, just the fun of designing and
What kind of something that must be working in your mind that you would like to design this?
industrial products, consumer products. I'd love to design cars, but 6 or 8 people couldn't do that. You need a much bigger organization.
On that note, we shall go for another short break, but stay on. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am still in conversation with Mr. Ratan Tata, chairman of the Tata Group. How much of your own inputs have come into the Nano, that small car, really?
See, I didn't sit on a drawing board and draw it, but
Right.
I was certainly very much involved in the design of the car.
Mm-hmm.
More critiquing the design and the work that went on.
Critiquing the design that went
Yeah.
on. But your inputs were finally reflected in the car as it came.
Yeah.
And you were among the first to drive it, actually.
Oh, I drove it all along as a mule, which is just a frame with
Right.
sitting out in the open, and as it developed,
Absolutely.
and more or less many of the details of the car. And I still review all our products in a fair amount of detail. I drive every one of them, which is why in a Nano, a 6-foot person can fit comfortably.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
That's my test.
That's your
So,
test.
yeah.
It has to pass your test
That's
before it is
right.
out into
That's
the
right.
streets. Lastly, Mr. Tata, you have given so much to this country. What would you possibly expect in return?
Nothing. Just. I think the country's been very good to me. I couldn't desire more.
And
I would only like not to be misunderstood, because from time to time I've taken positions which I think are right, and they have not been popular.
And what about the women's reservation bill that is rocking the country today as
Yeah.
we are talking? People are opposed to the women's reservation bill, 33%.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it to really pass a comment. I think women have been, to a great extent, ignored in this country, and they deserve to be recognized. How much of the bill is going to be something that one should accept? But prima facie, it seems like women should have adequate representation. Whether the percentage is right, wrong, too much, too little, I don't know. And I wouldn't want to comment on it.
How do you want people to talk about you, as a great business tycoon or as a nice person?
Neither. I think I would like to be remembered as somebody who tried to make a difference.
Somebody trying to make a difference. That you are,
I'm committed to enhancing the quality of life of people, and if I have done so or contributed to that, then I would like to be remembered that way.
thank you very much.
Okay,
Mr.
thank
Ratan
you.
Tata.
Thank you
Thanks
very,
for talking
very
for
much.
yourself. It was a
Thanks.
pleasure
Okay.
talking to you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure. Your time.
Okay, thanks.